Governors of the 19 northern states are exploring ways to focus on human capital development, especially addressing the high number of out-of-school children in the region. The governors met in Kaduna State to discuss issues of regional concerns. This is their second meeting since assuming office on the 29th of May. Chairman of the forum, Inuwa Yahaya, acknowledged the security challenges faced by several northern states and called for solidarity and support.
Since the inaugural meeting, we have individually and collectively fashioned workable strategies and implemented some measures to tackle our security challenges. We have made remarkable progress in degrading criminal element legacy to our communities. The federal government, under the dynamic, focused and courageous leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, DCFR has demonstrated total commitment to winning the war against terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of criminality. It has strengthened partnership with northern states and sustained its support to us, but challenges still remain. Today's meeting.
Now, for more updates on that meeting, let's bring in our reporter in Kaduna State, Lupe Asom. He joins me on the news. Lupe, give us updates on this meeting. What was the agenda and then the resolutions reached?
Good evening, Precious. Well, it was quite an intense meeting. The governors met for over 5 hours behind closed doors. Of course, they met 2 weeks back, about a week ago in Washington, D.C., where they attended a 2-day symposium on peace and security. And they were right here at Kashmir Ibrahim House in Kaduna State to also deliberate on pressing issues around the region. Of course, one of the key issues they discussed was the need to boost the economic and human capital development of the region. According to the governors, they believe that if the economic and human capital development of the region is improved, this would also translate to improving the security situation in the country. And another major aspect they spoke on was on the space, the increasing number of out-of-school children. You could recall that a statistics by UNICEF says over 10.5 million children in Nigeria are currently out of school, and 50% of that number reside in Kaduna State. Of course, 600 of that 50% reside here in Kaduna State. So the governors expressed concern about the rising number of out-of-school children in the north, approximately 5.25 million children in the north. So they raised concern about the number of out-of-school children, and they said if the human capital development and if the human capital and economic development of the state is improved upon, that will translate to addressing some of these issues which have contributed to exacerbating the insecurity in the north. And they also spoke about, they also commended the federal government for efforts to combat criminality and insecurity within the region. And they also said they were going to put modalities in place to ensure that they push forward the advocacy for state police. So those are some of the issues that were raised. They also spoke about the insecurity in the region, and they said they would come together to build a united front to address some of these issues. Of course, they sent condolences to some of the states that have been worst hit in recent times, talking about Plateau, talking about Katsina, talking about Kaduna, and they said they were going to build a united front, come together to address these issues and ensure that the region is safer.
And looking in terms of insecurity, are we going to see concerted efforts, collaboration, cooperation between, amongst the governors in dealing with that challenge in the north?
Well, of course, they actually said they actually commended themselves for a very, very progressive efforts. You can recall that the Kaduna State government recently bought a very good number of armored personnel carriers. Kaduna State government also received 2 armored personnel carriers from the Inspector General Police, as well as 200 tactical squads. So, of course, these improvements are being made. Recall that the Kaduna State government recently recruited 7,000 vigilante personnel, and they also bought security vans to distribute to security agencies within the region. So, of course, with some of those efforts in place, and today we also gathered that they received a security report from a group that was put together. They also received a brief from the Iowa Consultative Forum and the Northern Elders Forum. Of course, all of this pertain to issues around insecurity and maybe out-of-school children. So it is hoped that there will be an improvement with some of this concerted effort. Of course, just as I told you, this is the second meeting on peace and security in 2 weeks. They first met in Washington last week, and they are back here today in Kaduna State to also meet and deliberate on security. So the hope is that these deliberations will yield positive results, of course, with the collaboration from the federal government, and it will lead to a safer northern Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Lupe, for that update. Our correspondent live for us in Kaduna State. Thank you, Lupe.